Who, I can't remember.
You like it to
Oh, I
get rid of the $10 capital common voucher.
I have no word for what he's been going through as a parent.
So that's $90 that your customers call you to. It's more expensive the first thing that and like
doing something that had done 20,000
Oh. Oh my God. Oh my God.
as I was setting up,
That's a freak accident. There's no way about cooking on those. I grew up learning never dies in people were in the 60s. So we used to go to those like head injury and bagels.
That's part I like about it. So just being able to help people write that journey and just, connecting with people more than the whole thing. I feel like, I don't know, I'm just curious how the different companies are handling this whole shift between like how they're paying the best buyers, agents, and sellers agents, and all that. And how, I don't know, the more I read about it, it seems like it's turning more into, now I gotta sell you that you want a buyer's agent or you want a seller's agent because you're paying for it versus before just kind of like a hidden, fee in the purchase process.
Okay. Yeah, where have you been reading your news from? Where have you been gathering your news from?
I'm not an expert on it by no means.
More hours. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your. Oh, you can see it better.
They can see better. Hey man.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
Hello.
Yeah, I know.
I guess the list today.
Gonna join if you do decide that you want to learn more about joining, Kimberly's gonna be the person that will be able to get you signed in. Yeah, I just finished the schooling and all that, so just looking for a program.
A little
Do
bit.
you have anywhere else that you're planning on interviewing?
Well, because it just depends, like,
Talk to
I'm
the
teaching
team
so much.
further up Rockville Road, there by
Janice Overbeck?
It's not in favor,
They referred me.
it's like,
You guys.
because if I'm teaching, that's usually 5 hours of that day, that I can't do anything else. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll teach
Awesome, well, feel free to take it.
3 classes.
You want any water, water, coffee, any chicken minis, anything like that, I can grab it for you.
No, I'm good.
But Fridays are also off ones. So, like, the first Friday is the main one, and then,
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good, you?
Fridays.
Good. I got your text.
Okay, that's awesome.
I know, I like it too, never.
The other one. No, not finished. Other coming from. Terry. Jennifer here. Either today or tomorrow. He tries to do, because that's the joy.
Small group morning.
Jennifer, blonde.
75 for tonight.
Hello, darling. Yeah, it was actually. That was my supplement. Yeah. I remember the day that the race was announced, and I didn't realize how big a deal FMLS, the day it was announced. That was the late 90s, early 2000s. That was
Jason's
over
I
two
was
years
at
ago.
a party Saturday night with him there. He said, good, he's doing good. He says, how's he doing?
I love seeing pictures of him and like his dad and his little boy when they're out fishing and stuff. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't
It
see
was
pictures
at a
like that when
business
he worked
meeting,
at Carlisle.
3 Max Greater Atlanta, it was
He
in
really just
downtown
seems so much more
Roswell.
happy.
Yeah.
So,
Tell him hi back.
I will.
And you also, you live on the same street or area as
but
Jennifer.
Pamela, it was,
Yeah.
because FMLS is so
Yeah, she's there
Cause I've known her since our
Yeah.
twenties.
So, if it was 2 weeks around,
Yeah, she's
Oh my.
She's told me to check.
How are you?
How's it going?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, I'm Clark. Hey,
Rob, nice to meet you.
Rob, nice to meet you.
No, they texted me this morning. They're not gonna be able to make it. Yeah, he had said he looked at your email that you sent yesterday, and it wasn't a mention of it in the email, so he thought that we weren't doing it. Yeah.
horses. Cause I do know.
I don't know if she wants to do it.
I'm gonna text John and see if we can reach out to some of
So
his.
maybe she's actually. So I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you all that, so I'm not telling anybody else, but I told you.
I said pray.
Yeah, there you go, that's right, we can pray for
I closed you yesterday.
They're divorced for like 3 years.
Wow.
And now he's finally divorced.
Any other good news we talk about tonight?
Found out.
Good news.
Can I share?
No, someone.
I'm not.
100%.
So my tennis player son is graduating from Georgia Tech. And now he's gonna go on pro tour.
Wow.
He's already started pro. Oh, thank you. So please send blessings that he does good. He's done great at Georgia Tech. Line 2 player, he's 15 in the country. And they did a senior day the other day. It was very emotional moment, sobbed a lot. But yeah, on to the next journey.
Cool. I love that. That's great news.
tennis player. I used to play tennis. I haven't done pickleball yet.
Oh, come on.
Anyone here
You
do
do it.
pickleball? Anybody?
Yes.
You do pickleball? Wonderful. Are you good at it?
Play.
Oh, I'm fine.
Good.
Oh, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I like that.
It depends on who I'm playing with.
We have a full juice. Go ahead and get started. And let's see what's up here. I'll have to turn this off if I can. Where I can see it. All right, caravan today. I love that caravans are back. We're going to talk about that today. Caravan Tuesday, April 16th from 12 to 2. And it is, let's keep the rest, it's up there. 982 Memorial Walk for $1,025,000. Enter to win $100 in cash. And who is this?
Karen Sharpless.
Karen Sharpless is doing this one, guys. So go help her out if you can. Memorial Walk at South Valley. We'll help her and win $100. Partners.
Who's up?
Cheryl.
Hello.
Sure, come on.
Hey, Cheryl.
Good morning.
There we go.
Hello.
I was sick in bed for 4 days, so it's nice to see people again.
It's going around.
It really is going around. I don't know. I think it's mostly just the weather stuff, and then once I have to take medication for that, I have vertigo, so then I can't drive anymore. Because I'd be a danger to myself and to others. So, it's on the screen, but I think, a couple things. Number one, we had a really, really great fair housing class, last week. There will be, makeup on, Zoom on Monday, like a little pop-up. So if you haven't done it, if you have, you're welcome to come again, but we had somebody who did an in-person in the Zoom class 3 days later, and when we emailed her to say we couldn't give her like credit for both of them, she's like, I thought the material felt a little familiar. I was like, yeah, you took the same class 3 days, like 3 days apart, so. But really good information, we had some really good discussion, and then unless you guys have anything else, the thing that keeps that you know how like themes come in like little waves, like you think about something you hadn't thought about in forever and all of a sudden it comes up like 3 or 4 times. And it was, I got an email, a question about the do not call list from a real estate agent who had gotten some really bad advice from another real estate agent. And I see a lot of bad advice because I'm on those same like national real estate groups on Facebook that you guys are on, and there is some bad stuff going on those. So I would be very, like it takes everything in me not to respond. Please do not listen to anything that these people are saying. But the question that I got from the agent was that one of the other agents had told her that the do not call list doesn't apply to real estate agents because you're not selling anything. Well, that's BS. You are definitely selling something. You are selling real estate and you are selling yourself as a person who provides real estate services. So I pulled up some of the NAR information to give her because I you know, my first impulse was like, no, that's really, really awful advice. But I also like to give people the backup, and so there's some stuff on the NAR site. Greg's not quite as vocal about it, but there have been some things that have gone out by Greg that basically just says do what the realtors tell you to do, which I thought was kind of cute. And it says that you can call sellers regardless of whether or not they are on a do not call list. We're talking about like potential FSBO people, right? People that haven't put their property on the market. If you have a potential buyer for that property, because you are calling for a specific transaction. What you cannot do is use that as a pretext to try and get them to list the property with you. And so, you know, if you really do have someone who is interested in that property or properties in that area and they're trying to find something, that's completely legitimate. But just don't use it as a way to get around the do not call list. And the do not call list definitely applies. I believe KW just paid out again on something. It was a real estate agent who was violating the do not call list. It was in another state. So just be really, really careful with that kind of stuff. People will report you. I have reported people who have violated my do not call, not real estate agents, but I had some company that was calling me pretending to be they had the caller ID show up as a hospital in Arkansas and with an Arkansas area code. And 90% of my family lives in Arkansas and I don't have all of their telephone numbers and I certainly don't know all the hospitals there. So clearly I answered it thinking one of my family members was in the hospital.
only to find out that it was a bogus sales call. So I don't know what happened with it. Went onto the FCC website and did the report and did all the things that you're supposed to do. But for us as real estate agents, because I do hold a realtor license, we're in the crosshairs of a lot right now, so it's like a really bad look for us to step outside and violate the do not call list at the same time, so. Anything you have questions about?
I'm good. You answered all my questions today.
Awesome, yes ma'am.
Sure, so in regard to do not call list, if you receive text messages and you are on do not call list on the cell phone, is that okay? Or sending text messages?
Text messages are a little bit different with the way that the law was written, but I would err on the side of caution for things. I do report a lot of people as junk, like all those ones that text me every day about wanting to list the property, like I hit junk and report. So hopefully they keep showing up as spam for people. And then also remember that the flip side of this with our emails is the Can Spam Act. So we really, if you're sending out marketing emails, which obviously you should be doing, making sure that you're using a system that flags, that allows people to unsubscribe and keeps a list of the people that have unsubscribed. And MailChimp and Constant Contact and a lot of your built-in CRMs all do all of that heavy lifting for you and make sure that you're in keeping with all the laws. And then, but I see real estate agents who will send an email out to 250 people, all on the to line of the email, not using, and then starts the reply to all, right? So 200 replies to all of remove me from that list. And those are the people that, even though I'm in the business and you're my source of business, that I consider just permanently blocking in my email system for sending things like that. It doesn't look professional at all, because a 12-year-old could figure out how to use MailChimp. But I do get a lot of those as well, really not great emails.
Hey Cheryl, the text spams that we all get, and you have the report as junk feature, any idea where that goes?
Where it goes is either to, I don't know whether it goes to AT&T or to Apple, but it either goes to your phone or it goes to your service provider. And that's why when we're getting calls and other messages these days, it'll tell us that's probably a solicitation, that's probably a spam. That's a great feature that's been added, right, in the last few years.
Yeah.
I try and add, if any of you all ever need to reach me, and if you need my number, it's 404-434-6156. And if you're not sure that we've communicated before, if you text me first, that way I'll know who you are, because I don't answer calls that I don't recognize the number on, because I probably get, between being a closing attorney, the owner of businesses, online with a lot of followers, particularly on LinkedIn, and I'm a real estate agent, I probably get about 40 calls a day that are just completely and utterly a waste of, like, it's the insurance, because we all know, like, they think I'm self-employed, they think I need insurance and everything else.
Trump, you get them from Trump?
All sides, right? American Land Title Association asked us to reach out to all of our legislators about a federal bill. So now I've gotten added to all of, regardless of which side of the spectrum it's on, I've gotten added to all of their groups. I'm like, you're one politician and I get 17 emails from you every day. So, but yeah.
So would you repeat your number?
404-434-6156. And once we've communicated, I do add people in, that way when they're calling, I know exactly who it is. So.
How long ago?
What?
You added me in not long ago.
For a while, and even if I forget, if you texted me once before and you call me, it'll say maybe Jim. And I was like, oh, which is a nice reminder that I haven't added that person into my contacts. But if you need me, I'm around. So.
She's information. Can we have our hand, guys?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm Reed with Silverton Mortgage, and
I'm Danielle with Silverton Mortgage. Thank you to those who participated in our movie party this weekend. It was successful. We had 41 agents participate and 125 guests. So
we're happy to do this again, but we need to know, who wants it, who wants to use it. So, I know you do, Authorine has never missed it, but we can do these again. Frankly, we expected a little more than 40, I'm glad y'all did, but, it's a great opportunity for y'all to touch your database multiple times. And to give you an idea, I forwarded it to Jim yesterday because I was bragging on Heather. Everybody say, hey Heather.
Hey Heather.
So let me tell you what
That's
Heather
Reed's
was
boss,
doing
by the way.
yesterday. Do what?
She's your boss.
Oh, dude, seriously. She's got the leash. So, like for example, Eric utilized the movie party. Eric got an email yesterday that said, hi Eric, just wanted to let you know, this people that you invited didn't show up. These people did show up and they saw this movie. And she checked that she is interested in buying a new home. Or it could be, Eric, they said that they weren't interested in buying or selling, but a great chance for a refi. I mean, that is huge. That is somebody handing you an opportunity to make a phone call to a client. So Heather, she figured that out herself, and that is excellent. Thank you so much for doing that. I did want to give you guys a bit of good news. How relevant it is, we'll find out. So you guys know the deal with the lawsuit that says that you guys can't, the collusion between the buying agent and the selling agent and all that sort of thing. So just on Monday, so here's a quick question. Who knows what a GSE is? And you guys that are in the mortgage business cannot answer this.
GSE.
GSE. Somebody, one of you guys want to tell them?
I saw it.
It's a government-sponsored entity. Now, do you know what the two big GSEs are? Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So they're these quasi-government entities. They're not really government entities, but they kind of are government entities because the government controls them. But they're the people who make the rules for all the mortgages that we originate, all the underwriting guidelines, all of that stuff. They also handle the packaging and bundling of loans for mortgage-backed securities and things like that. So they put a ruling out Monday that said that customary fees that are normally paid from the seller on the buyer's behalf do not fall under the limits of interested party contributions. Now here's what that is. Rich calls me. Rich says, hey, so-and-so's got, my client's got a house under contract. There's some stuff that needs to be fixed, but the seller didn't want to fix it. How much can they contribute toward closing costs? Have you asked that question before? Okay. Does anybody know in general what those limits are? How much can a seller pay toward a buyer's closing costs?
6%.
3%.
All of you are right.
Yeah.
Depending on the scenario. On a conventional loan, if the down payment is less than 10%, it's 3%, right? But then it goes up to 6%, and actually it can go up to 9% on a conventional loan if they're making a monster down payment. I've only had that happen one time. On an FHA loan, what is it?
6%.
Right, 6%. Now, here's the issue, because you guys are thinking about the workaround for commissions, right? So we can't list it, but my buyer's gotta pay my commission. Can't the seller contribute to the buyer's closing costs to pay my commission? Well, what the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are saying is, that doesn't count in the total. That's a big deal. Because if you did have a case, if we get back to a market where it's real common for you to contribute, for the seller to contribute for closing costs, even if they have to contribute to pay your commission as a buyer's agent, that amount will not count in the total. In the total of interest of the interested party.
Let's go ahead, let's
the limit.
work through a transaction,
Okay.
right? Let's just think. through it.
$400,000 transaction.
Right.
The seller, you're.
There's gonna be no closing costs, and I'm gonna write it that way. But the buyer is not going to pay, we want the buyer to pay, and the commission on that, in that example, is, let's say, 10 grand.
Okay, you're on the listing side or the?
I'm on the buyer side.
Okay.
All right, so instead of writing it where it's a $400,000 transaction, 0 closing costs, I'll write it at 10,000 closing costs. I'll pay it on behalf of the buyer. And then at closing, how is that being handled?
It's actually going to go on the commission agreement. It'll show on the closing statement on the CD. But it's going to be part of your commission agreement, which is.
Between me and the buyer.
Right.
So in my buyer's representation, I'm gonna have some kind of stip in there saying that we're
Well,
gonna
your buyer,
basically,
your buyer brokerage agreement already says that anyway, right? It defines who's paying the buyer's commission.
okay, all right, so in that example, it would say that the buyer's going to pay us 10,000. So I don't have to put in there, how that's being done, how the buyer's going to pay me?
That's a Sherry question, but I would say this, in a case like that where the buyer's having to pay the buyer's agent's commission, it's gonna show as if it's a closing cost, but it won't count in the total that the
Of
seller's
that
allowed to
3%.
pay. Right,
Right.
so it's a big deal, it actually gives a little bit of latitude.
So that's real good to know.
Yeah.
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 So should be specified in special stipulations, or where, how do we
If it-
make it clear that where is this money going?
If Jim will answer this, but it seems to me, and here I am stepping way out of line, that you guys, if you're gonna have, if your buyer has agreed to pay your commission, right, you're gonna have to put a special stip. You're gonna have to put a special stip that you're asking the seller to pay it, right? If your buyer can't pay it. Like if you got a first time home buyer that doesn't have the cash, you're gonna have to actually stipulate that, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have to say when you write the offer, we're making this offer, but we have to have the seller paying the buyer's agent's commission, because if not, you go under contract, what are you gonna do if your client doesn't have the cash? So anyway, lots going on, but I thought that was a good piece of information. Here's what I like about it, I'm gonna wrap this up, I promise, just getting the hook. The way they worded it, he said, if it's a usual and customary for the seller to pay this type of closing costs for the buyer. To me, that's huge, because that's the whole premise of the lawsuit was it's collusion, and we're going, no, it's usual and customary, that's what happens in real estate transactions, right? And I'm betting you that at some point in future legislation, they will refer back to that and say, guys, this, even Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac know that the seller pays the buyer's agent's commission. It's always been that way. And to me, I think that's a big deal, so.
That's a great update.
Yep.
More to come, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
President, I'm Morgan, come on up.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Taylor Brigowski, and I am the new Northwest Atlanta Area Manager for First American Home Warranty. I also provided your address for it. Now, buckle up, because for the next 4 to 5 minutes, I'm going to blow your minds talking about home warranties. No, in all seriousness, and to get to the point, First American wants to be a trusted partner. I want to be a part of your team. I may be new, but I'm not new to relationships, and I work for a company that doesn't expect me to bootstrap my way through the job. So, I'm resourceful, and I'm dependable, I'm empathetic, and I answer my phone. We exist. Also, I'm a people pleaser. Best and worst quality, right? But what that means for you is that it's in my best interest mentally to advocate for everyone involved, from you to your clients, to the other agent and their clients, to my boss, and to my company. And where this all starts is with seller's coverage. Boom, brought it back to the product. So, seller's coverage starts on day one, and it's intended to help the home stay in condition to sell with the goal of closing and transferring to a buyer's warranty. Super simple, no upfront costs. You have up to 180 days of our basic plan coverage, but if you want to add heating, AC, and ductwork, it's $70 for the seller's policy. Again, no upfront costs. You find a buyer, then you add their name and the policy that it's going to transfer to when it's paid for at closing. Now, here's a big little secret about it. Seller's coverage is basically free. There is no financial obligation other than the $70 that you may or may not have added. So it's crazy not to at least present a home warranty to every seller. But here's the thing, it's not meant to be a standalone product. So seller's coverage and buyer's coverage should always go hand in hand. Imagine going to a Mexican restaurant. You sit down, you have some chips and salsa, maybe you get a refill, and then you get up and you walk out the door. So, a home warranty should be presented to every buyer as well, and it's important to get that signature to accept or deny coverage. Now, that waiver can be found on the back of our 4-page pricing guide, which I have a ton of them out there, and it's also on the last page of our 16-page brochure. That can help protect your liability after the sale should a major system or appliance break. Because let's face it, systems and appliances have a funny way of breaking down right after closing. And actually right now, 48% of our customers have at least one major system or appliance break within the first year, and 28% of those folks file that claim within the first 90 days. So, without a home warranty, that homeowner is left footing the bill, and it can be astronomical. I speak from personal experience. So, when that happens, they could blame you, they could blame the seller, they could blame the other agent. First American makes that conversation quiet because now they simply have to file a claim. And at First American right now, we have a less than 3% denial rate, the lowest in the business. So we're a safe bet. Because look, we are all in the full service business and we can provide it all before, during, and after closing. First American, I can make your job easier. I can make you look like a rock star, but like a rock star who cares a lot. Because you provided your clients the opportunity to protect their budget and you've given them peace of mind. Also, you've introduced them to yet another advocate, me. I may work in sales, but I answer calls about claims too. I will validate you and your client's concerns. Granted, I will then send all of that information to my claims specialist, Chase, who is amazing, and because he will manage that claim from start to finish. But know that you will always have at least 2 real people who will talk to you and listen to you. Just as you do, I want to build long-lasting relationships that lead to lifelong clients, you, and referrals, your friends who are also real estate agents. I want to earn your trust so that if your clients were to ever call me, you know that they will be shown the same kindness, honesty, and respect that you showed them. That I will always guarantee. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
So guys, we're gonna stop for a minute. Camilo, come up. Camilo, wanted to say hello to you guys. Camilo, you're up.
Buenos días. Some of you don't know me. I'm Camilo Escandon with Supreme Lending, Senior Loan Officer, but we probably started 2 months. We started like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Already knows me a little bit and everything, but I'm not trying to talk to you about business. I just want to take an opportunity, and I talked to Jim on Friday that I think is, I wanted to send an email, I wanted to reply to every single email, notes, everything that I got, and still I have a bunch of text emails to reply back. You know what happened 3 months ago? It's hard. But I know that I have to say thank you personally. I want to say thank you. Thank you for those notes, for those emails, for those posts on Facebook, for the 3 certificates, for the food. Last week we have a little gathering at Supreme Lending, so we were talking about the economy, you know, and a couple of encouragement things, and we play a video from a female basketball coach. Her name is Tara Lawson. I don't know if you heard about it or not. But she says something about, you know, the freshmen girls, like we all think that life gets easier, okay? And if we do this and we do that, everything is gonna be better, okay? But every time it's gonna be harder and harder and harder, okay? And when I heard that, I realized the power of support. So we don't know each other that closely, you know, as far as business. And personally, you know me a little bit the last couple of years, but she said something about handling her better, okay? And the pain of losing my son is gonna be there forever, okay? It's not gonna go away. It's gonna be hard. It's hard. It's gonna be harder. It's not easy to hear as well. But your support is giving me that. It's allowing me to allow to handle her better. So I thank you for that, and virtual things as well. So thank you. I mean, it means a lot, those little notes. Means a lot. Okay, so the pain again is gonna be there forever. There are other type of things that we're gonna have, financial, business, economy, and we can choose to handle that better, and that's gonna go away. I love my son. He said thank you. Talking of appreciation, I mean, you're not obliged, but I'm gonna pass around some bracelets that we did. The high school, you know, he used to be at the varsity, soccer varsity, senior team, and these kids surround us with so many things, and they come up with these ideas for fundraising. It blew me away about the teenagers and the way that they got together. So it's just a token of appreciation for that. I'll be around, not at the same intensity as you might understand, not the same thing, but this is a way of healing as well. By the way, this is not about business. It's not about business, okay? And that's, I think, for the respect that I have to you, to Jim, to my coworkers, Child Hunter. This is a great place to work or be associated with, you know, because I don't work with all of you, but you provide me that support, and that's huge. So it's not about business. Okay, so thank you. Appreciate for your prayers. Keep praying, please. Pray and hug your kids. Love them. First, schedule the games or whatever you do first before business. I did that, and that's why I'm stronger. Because I took care of business before the other stuff. Okay?
Love you, man.
Thank you.
That's from the whole crowd. Okay, great guys. Take Command Smart Plans, guys. If you are not using Command Smart Plans, you're losing something on the table that is an amazing way for you to run your business. So please go take a look at this with Kevin Jackson. Kevin, those that very well wish, April 17th from 11 to 2. And this is for anybody that wants to know more about Command. Kevin makes it simple. So thank you, Kevin, for doing that for us. CBS 411 class, Top Archery every Friday 4 o'clock p.m. on Zoom. Please join her. It's an amazing class. If you know what GPS is, or 411, then you should be there. Right, Arthur Reed?
Yes,
100%,
absolutely.
correct. Guys, Market Matters. Next week, there'll be no meeting here. We're gonna meet, and this is Sandy Springs, in downtown Sandy Springs. It's at their beautiful facility there. And it's gonna be stats. Our own Cindy Contrusi is gonna participate in that, and she's gonna help them interpret the luxury stats. So guys, this is the Rawls Group stats presentation. Please join them. You need a RSVP. So that's Tuesday, April 23rd, 9:30 to 12:30. Please join me. And the new location, City of Sandy Springs Studio Theater. Great parking there, easy to get out of. So please do our RSVP there. And we'll send this out to you also. And Power Series, this is going on. The guys, who can tell me who Diana Koska is? One person?
Powerhouse.
Okay, who can tell me who Kate Patulski is? Two of the best real estate coaches in the whole country. some of the best minds, more country guys, and we're bringing them here from 199 guys, and you also get a wonderful John Maxwell coach, and a guy that understands brand value, guys. So this is like beyond amazing for you. So please just realize that's coming. If you want a ticket, please see me or Kimberly, and we'll make it happen. Spring book drive. You want to talk about that, Brenda?
Good morning. This spring book drive is a part of Save the Love Foundation that we help during the Christmas time. And they're doing a summer book drive for those that are less fortunate that can't go on the camps and everything. So they're going to be doing it at South Cobb Library, where we can donate the books, but we will have a bin downstairs for those that may have seen it, to any book school age, of course, K through 12. Appreciate your support.
Can we use or use?
They can be used just as long as you're not
Gently.
damaged.
Of course they can use.
Gently.
Gently used.
Mostly
Yes.
So Brenda, thank you for doing that.
No 3-year-old slobber.
No.
Like most of mine.
Okay.
Guys, on.
And quickly, you can go on Amazon, she has that access as well if you wanna buy a book, you know, to donate, you have really cheap books up to $1.25. Okay?
Thanks, Brenda.
And before we go to our first closings, Jalen has something he wants to present with Clark Davis. So come on, Jalen.
Oh, alright. Hello.
Hello.
So I'm gonna take notes from one of our previous presenters. For the next 4 or 5 minutes, I'm gonna blow your mind. No, first, just wanna take a couple of moments. Wanna say thank you to everyone that showed up today. We do have a couple of special guests in the building today. We have some first-time people that have joined us today in our sales meeting. We have Rob here and Ebony. No, sorry. Can I get your name? Marjorie? Okay, alright, Marjorie, sorry, Marjorie. And are there any more first-time guests? There you go. So we do have a couple of first-time guests joining us today. And this portion was gonna be for the lessons learned. Before I bring Clark up, I do just wanna mention one story that in speaking with an agent of our office today, in their previous weekend, they have some very qualified buyers. They can do cash or conventional. They are able to wipe out any contingencies, no appraisal, fill any gaps, and they still lost out on an offer this weekend on a very competitive home. Who can say what's the area where they lost out on that offer? Well, no, not the area, contractually, what made an offer more competitive than theirs?
Due diligence?
Option money.
Yeah, options.
Option money.
It's coming back.
Wow. Yeah, it was me, it was me.
Yeah, I did have a little.
So option money is coming back. That is something that you want to be cognizant of. You just want to take a quick moment if you want to come up, Clark. Everyone, welcome Clark Davey.
I'm in panel 3.
Yes. So Clark has been one of the office's top performers when it comes down to profit share. And so I reached out to Clark after reviewing numbers and asked him if he would be willing to share some information just on how it has impacted his business, how he began in receiving profit share, and to learn more about his goals and where he wants to grow his profit share. Since joining the office, I have definitely connected with a number of agents. Stephanie, I have a full inbox of recruits and referrals that Stephanie is sending over, so she's fully buying in. But Clark, just if you can take a moment just to introduce yourself, and then first question to speak towards is, how long have you received profit share with Keller Williams?
So I started with Keller Williams in real estate in 2004, and I remember one of the first things when I went to go meet with the team leader, they told me all about the cap and the culture and all that stuff, and then they were like, profit share. And I was like, when she got to profit share, honestly, it was just like, kind of fell on deaf ears. And so but they kept talking about it. And so eventually, like a couple years into it, you asked me what year it started. I pulled these numbers, it only goes back to 2010 in were in reports. So I think it probably started about 2 or 3 years after 2004, so maybe about 2007, right before the market crash.
Wow. That's
So,
amazing.
but it started out very small. So it was like, I mean, the first payment, like one was $18. So, but it's like, hey, wait, what's that? You know, so. And regarding what does it do for my business? You know, I wish I could say I keep it completely separate to benefit my business or to benefit, you know, my families and my expenses. But it's helping with college, it's helping with, you know, when your GCI sucks, it helps, you know. It just is helpful. It's like Gary's gift to us, to create a market center and an office that nobody ever wants to leave.
That's a great way of putting it, and it is one of Gary's gifts within Keller Williams, but it matters how profitable is your office in receiving profit share. In Q1, in current statistics, our office, and Jim can correct me if this is incorrect, but we were rated the second most profitable in the Southeast. So we are a very profitable office, and that's opportunity that is there for our agents. You mentioned what you've seen on the low end from profit share within a monthly check. Would you mind, whatever you're willing to share, what you have seen as a highlight or on the higher end in a profit share check?
So my best year was 20,000, and this past year it dipped a little bit because I had 15. I got to one goal, which was 15 active agents in the first rung of my profit share tree, but then a few of those left the company, and so right now in my first level I'm at 9, but the largest, and so what's super cool, if y'all ever get the chance to go hear Aaron Kaufman, what he says is what you grow wide, time will grow deep. And one of the best, I sponsored a young lady whose mom joined this office and still is a fellow Keller at Julian Rivera. And so when I sponsored her daughter, that's like the deepest part of my profit share tree. And just to kind of just piggyback on what you were saying, y'all, when you sponsor somebody to this market center, you'll get a sizable chunk of profit share when they are paying towards their cap versus an office that does not perform well and create owner profit. So we're lucky to be a part and be able to share, and it never, you know, as long as they're producing, it never goes away. So.
And that's an amazing opportunity to have because every brokerage, every office does not offer that same opportunity. There was someone that was going to be a member of Speaking today, but they weren't able to make it. But they shared with us on Monday they received a profit share check just from one agent. Granted, situational, but it was an additional $2,500. Agents, we know a lot of ways we could use an additional $2,500. So it's something that's in your back pocket that you can definitely utilize through recruitment and being able to bring agents into the office. As we wrap up, because this is going to be the most exciting 4 to 5 minutes of profit share and recruitment, do you all have any questions for Clark?
Will you teach us how you became so successful at it?
Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, it goes back, Eric, to like whoever's taken Bold before. My favorite Bold law is people grow into the conversations that you and I create around them. And it's not about convincing anybody of anything. It's just about getting into conversations with folks and then delivering them to these guys. And it can be as simple as just giving someone an MREA look, because that's how I got Julian's daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a terrible closing too.
Wow.
But she joined anyway.
And so that can go a long way. A big thing that you can do is create excitement for the handoff and trust that myself and Jim will be able to take care of the rest and ensure that you are able to be brought on as a sponsor. So for myself, yes, Marla?
Do you have any way to keep the people that you bring into the office, or you just handle it and after that you don't do anything?
You're not responsible for their success, but it would be nice if you have a vested interest in seeing that they succeed, but that really is up to you, the sponsor. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did it ever happen to you when you talk to people, they decide to join Keller Williams, they asking you permission to put your name as a sponsor, but they live in a different area, so they go to a different office. After a while, you find out for some reason they are not their sponsor. How could it happen?
It hasn't happened very often. I think maybe once it's happened. I put that out of my mind because at some point somebody was not in culture there. But I will, to your point though, I have added folks in North Carolina, and there's one kid that I'm working on who was in like Indiana at the time. I'm trying to he's a part-time firefighter and he was wanting to get into real estate. So you can, and then there's growth shares. If you know somebody in like Spain or Jamaica or wherever, that you can be their sponsor. I say stuff like, I'll send it to Jim, saying if I didn't know him, I would say, here's the introduction, blah, 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 thank you for your sponsorship support. And then I would follow up with a phone call so that he knows I'm tied to that person.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Anybody have at all?
So, but even if he knows, if the person chooses not to put you as a sponsor, then there's nothing you can do.
That's the luck of that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles.
Which usually means you don't communicate well enough with them. You can tell them, just make sure you ask our sponsor, please consider adding me. Anything else, so we can move on?
Yeah, just want to say for introductions, just want to say for introductions, feel free to email Jim or I, primarily me, as being brought on as Director of Growth. And then also, very easy, if you just want to put us in a cell phone group chat. My cell phone number is on my card, I'll give it out if you need it. It's 770-712-9104, but you can just put me and that recruit in a group chat, and then I can talk to them separately and make sure that you're able to be added as a sponsor.
Yeah, please don't be surprised when my team leader gives you a call, because I told him what a rock star you are.
Thank you all.
I'm Stephanie, this is Adrienne. We are heading up your culture committee for this year. The big thing that we do, and there's little things behind the scenes, but we claim Red Day for us. As a company, Red Day is a huge part of what we do because we are here to serve and give back, and that really is the spirit of Keller Williams. And for me personally, I know that's a great deal of what drew me to Keller Williams. So Thursday, May 9th is our Red Day this year. If you haven't already, please block your calendar. We ask that everybody set their business aside for one day to join us to serve. We are going to be partnering again this year with Must Ministries and with Nothing But the Truth. So if you want to go ahead and introduce Must, and we'll kind of take it away.
Cindy Fennell with Must is here. Can you come up here and share a little bit? We're going to be doing a project, but she's here to share a little bit about Must and just what we're going to do.
Okay, I'll give you my 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
4.5 minutes to blow your mind. And I brought a prop. Don't let me forget to explain my prop at the end. I am brand new at Must, so y'all are my first group to speak to as a Must employee. I've been there a month. I've worked in the Cobb community quite a while with different nonprofits and doing fundraising and development, but I'm new to Must, I'm still learning. And it's a big organization, it's a fire hose of information. So I thought I'd share just a couple things I learned in the first 30 days of being there on their development team. And I'm really excited y'all are coming out on the 9th, that's awesome. We have volunteers every single day working in Must in
multiple locations. And we really appreciate every single one of those volunteers who helps us run that operation, because we serve a lot of people. I'll tell you a little more. How many of you are familiar with MUST, or you've been there and donated, or maybe you volunteered before? Okay, so half and half maybe. If you're not, some of this might be interesting, and some of this is stuff I didn't know as a new employee. MUST was founded over 50 years ago, 1971, here in Cobb County. We're a local nonprofit. We have morphed and grown and expanded over those years to being, becoming a 10-county service region now, which is pretty huge. It's a lot. The purpose of our organization is to serve our neighbors in need. That's our mission. It was founded as a ministry, but we are not there to minister or to convert people to become Christians. We are there to serve them the way Christ served everyone and to emulate his model. We break the cycle of poverty. Obviously, that means basic needs: food, clothing, shelter. We also have some wraparound services that are helping people move beyond just, that emergency of I need food, I need shelter. How do we get you out of that situation long term? And so that's where the wraparound services come around. But food is the big kahuna. I've been shocked at how much food we go through. 5 tons a day of food goes to neighbors in need through MUST. That's groceries, meals, baked goods, serving them in our shelter. In fiscal year 2023, we provided almost 3.8 million pounds of food to over 63,000 people. It's going to be over 70,000 this year. And I will say also, since the pandemic, everything changed with the pandemic in so many ways. And for us, that was a significant tipping point. We were serving 33,000 people a year before, in 2019.
Excuse me.
Bless you. In 2024, we're serving 70,000 people.
Wow.
So our operations doubled, and you think about all the federal money and the grants and the things that came down during pandemic to help take care of people. A lot of that came to us because we were a big organization, we were already operational, we could really execute and make it happen, and so they threw money at MUST, and we've been kind of suffering in a way because we had to grow so fast, and we had to pivot quickly and make things happen, but we did it, and we're still experiencing some of that growth right now. People just keep coming, and I don't know when it will stop, if it will ever stop, but there is a need out there, so we appreciate all that y'all can do. We offer daily at our Hope House shelter, which you'll see when you come to our campus if you come to volunteer with us. That's 136 beds, with men, women, and children. They get 3 meals a day, they get case management, they get workforce employment assistance to help them get a job, get off of the public dole. The shelter also serves, I won't say the shelter. Our locations, we have brick and mortar locations, three places: Marietta, Smyrna, Canton. Cherokee and Cobb are kind of our biggest service areas, and so that's where our brick and mortar locations are all located. We serve also through something you've probably heard of, our summer lunch program. It's coming up soon. Here's the numbers: 500,000 meals, 7,000 children in 10 counties over 9 weeks. That's what summer lunch does. And if you follow our social media, I'll talk about my prop now. If you follow our social media, you'll see we're in the 6 months to summer lunch kind of a campaign, and each week MUST is soliciting donations and support to help build the materials and the supplies needed. So this is week 1 of the 6 weeks. We need your bags. I know you all have one of these in your pantry or in your garage or in your kitchen. So these are useful to us. Your clean grocery bags. We pack these with a week's worth of meals, and these get delivered to those children throughout summer lunch. So we're gonna need thousands, okay? Like 7,000 kids times 9 weeks, that's how many of these bags we need. 65,000 bags. Kroger and Publix and Walmart are all amazing, but what's wrong with reusing and recycling? So
yes.
If y'all want to collect bags, and then those of you who come to MUST on the night, bring them with you, and we would love to have them. So that's my prop for today. The other big area we do after food is housing, and I know you've all heard of the shelter. That's the only shelter, the Hope House, that was purpose-built as a homeless shelter. No other shelter in Georgia, I don't know if even in the nation, I need to double check that fact, but has been built specifically for that need. And we were very fortunate that we raised the funds, did the capital campaign, and were able to build that building to suit our needs and those of our clients. And so that's kind of a special, unique thing that we have at the Hope House. It's very cool, and I want to commend Camilo for your company. Supreme Lending has been a great partner of ours. We're just present at our gala last weekend. And so thank you, and please share that back with your team at Supreme, how much we appreciate all that your group does, so. We understand, we help people do hard better as well, and
Yes.
thank you. So, the shelter is kind of the one emergency stop, as you know, but the more stability that we can provide people, that comes through the case management. We put them in apartments, we put them in hotels, we get them through. We get training going, sometimes they need help with their documentation and resources, and then ideally, they're out the door in about 90 days to a year, kind of depends on the situation. But, is there any questions? You can throw me a question and I'll try to answer it. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all on the 9th. Oh, I'm supposed to talk about what you're doing.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, a little
Okay,
bit.
okay, sure.
So those who come on the 9th are gonna come to our community room and build no-sew blankets for our shelter clients. And that means it's those fuzzy blankets where you tie the fringe around the edges and you don't have to know how to sew. They're very easy, they're fun to make. We provide the materials and you guys are gonna come in and just make them happen, put them together. Those blankets are fun, they're bright colored, they're warm and cozy, and it's a really nice way to welcome families into the shelter. And so, yes, you get a bed and a pillow and you get some sheets and then you get the no-sew blanket that's fluffy and warm and personalized and, you know, something cute and pretty that's yours to take with you when you leave. So that's where that makes a difference for those folks as they come in, especially the kids. They love those blankets, so.
Nice.
And we're asking everybody to do a $5 monetary donation so that we can go buy the fleece to
You're gonna bring
help-
your own fleece,
help
okay.
offset y'all's
Yeah,
costs.
yeah, some of the groups do bring their own, so. But we burn through blankets, diapers, underwear. You wouldn't believe it. We always need new underwear. That's one of the only things in diapers and stuff that we can't use, reuse. We take clothes, we take furniture, we take it all. And we,
Socks?
Socks, preferably new, but
Okay.
especially with kids,
Okay.
new socks could be okay for little bitty people. Yeah.
I have a question,
Stuff.
furniture, can you come pick it up too, when people are looking to do that?
I don't think we do much pickup because of the volume that we deal with. But our donation center, it's basically a giant warehouse, and the donation center then serves all of our different locations. So we literally have a MUST truck going from the DC to Canton, and then bringing things from Canton back to the DC, and then it's going to the marketplace over here in East Cobb, and then it runs every day of the week. It's just, working between all of our locations to make sure the resources are where we need them. So sometimes they're taking stuff, to a location, sometimes they're bringing back donations to the DC to get sorted and prepped to maybe go back out, so. It's pretty amazing, it's an impressive operation. Coming from the outside, I was like, wow. So, we'd love to have y'all's support anytime, and I'm always there. I don't have any business cards yet, I'm not new, but you know where to
Well,
find me.
thank you so much for being willing to come and
And then Nothing But the Truth is the other organization that we're gonna serve with. I personally have been serving with them for 14 years now. I grew up as a kid in Cobb County. My mom had us actively serving with MUST when I was a kid. It was just very much ingrained in us as a family that we were serving. So when I moved to Gwinnett County later in life, it just was a natural transition for me to find another organization that was very similar. Nothing But the Truth has been around for about 14 years now. They are very similar in their mission and what they're providing to the communities there. In the 14 years that they have been operating, they're serving 3 counties, so their main focus is Gwinnett, Barrow, and then now Clayton County also. The big piece that we will be helping them with are their weekend food bags. So they are providing food for the kids as they go home on the weekends, over the, weekends, over the holidays. What they do is they, put bags together at their location, and then they have a team of delivery drivers every week that go out and drop these bags off to the schools. At the beginning of each year, the counselors are identifying these kids that are food insecure, that need that resource. It's done very discreetly, so that other kids are not aware that, they're bringing home a bag of food for the weekend. So two of their biggest needs right now are the Pop-Tarts and the individual-sized cereals. So that's what we will collect for Nothing But the Truth. But in addition to those weekend food bags, they are teaching English as a second language there. They're providing a meal once a week on Thursday nights for the families in the community. They are providing some shelter as well. They just have so much, they've got a night that's all study and mentoring for the kids. So there's several things that they are doing there as well. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna unload, help fill their pantry. We will pack some bags, and then 5 of us that are going out there will actually go and drive to deliver the bags. That is one of the things that I was doing for several years while we still lived over there. It is just the coolest thing to see and experience the hearts of the counselors in the school systems, because they really have a heart for those kids. So that's what we'll be doing there. But I definitely want to note that we will be serving lunch here midday. Lunch is being provided by Supreme, so thank you very much for that. And then at the end of the day, Silverton will be sponsoring our happy hour. We'll be at Atlanta Hard Cider, and we'll have some drink tickets for everybody. But they are also having a huge event there that night at Atlanta Hard Cider. It's like a shopping event for Mother's Day. So it should be a lot of fun, but we really encourage you guys to sign up, be a part of our company's culture, and we'll make sure that sign up goes back out again this week. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
This is my favorite part, which is this right here, guys. By the way, thank you for your patience, and we've got a full agenda, as you can see, but everything is very important. So first closing, should I turn the lights down? Hey, Maya Fisher, are you here? Let's give her a hand, first closing. And Brian, come on up.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Share that with me. That's great. All right, cool. And then my very favorite part is March cappers. When you cap here, what does that mean?
You are
Keep all the money. Keep all the money, which I love. So our first capper, from our cappers. And who would this be? But Heather Abernathy and her dad. Come on.
Sorry, she couldn't be here.
That's all right. She's out selling real estate right now. Exactly right. Just Liz Carr. Let's give Liz a hand. Way to go, Liz. Nina, come on.
No. Thank you.
I got you.
Oh, you're cool.
Yeah.
I did an audition this morning, so
Here we go. 1, 2. Alright, there we go.
Let's give our hands Mary DePriest, way to go, Miriam. Way to go, Miriam. Eric Decker.
Oh, wait, right there. It didn't have to.
What the hell?
Wait, can I get one with
They're very bossy up there.
I'm working with all these ladies. You trying to not mess up your hair?
Yay.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Rachel Ellinger, way to go, Rachel. Great team. Maria, are you here, Maria? Let's give Maria a hand. Adrian Gary, Adrian!
get one? Can I get one? Can I get the hug? There we go. There we go.
Thank you. I love y'all this hats away. Anna Howard, yay Anna! Come on, Mom, get a hat, come on, Mom.
All
There
right.
you go.
Come on, Mom.
I'm a substitute.
Exactly right. Give her a hand, congratulations. And Travis, let's give Travis a hand. Way to go, Travis! And Mary McMath, take her report. She's a Brooklyn sheriff. All right. Adam, are you here, Adam? Let's give Adam a hand. Way to go, Adam. Janice and Gunnar Overbeck. One more time. Way to go, guys. Way to go. My fave, you hear my fave? All right, my fave. My fave, if you don't mind, you should be here. Scott Barani, way to go, Scott. Rich Wiedekine, yay, Rich. Come on, Rich, one more. Okay, good, that sounds good. Ready?
Put that on your head.
Can I get a picture of you all? There we go. Alright, awesome.
Yeah, I can't wear the thumb up there. Exactly right, Jen. I'm up there. That's it, okay, great. All right, so guys, thank you for your patience this morning. Everything is finally starting to work. Anybody hot in here?
It's cooling down.
I'll tell you, I can say it's all hot air, they'll include me also. But so guys, so let's talk a minute about what I'm seeing out there. I'm getting more and more phone calls about, Jim, my listing is not selling. Oh my God, it didn't sell the first weekend.
Price.
So what are y'all seeing out there? Our house is still selling the first weekend. That's the first question.
Yes.
Price right, low price, price right, location, price right.
And
Price, all right, it's price right, okay, all right. Okay, if it's price right, it's selling the first weekend, okay, all right. What else are you seeing out there as far as listings?
We need more.
We need more, guys. So, guys, let's talk about that. I'm gonna remind you one more time. During the 7, 8, 9, sort of turn down the market, there are about 35,000 listings in Metro Atlanta. 35 to 40,000 listings. How many do we have right now? Do I know?
4,500 or?
About 4,500?
Yeah.
So do we still need more listings?
Yes.
Always.
Is that correct, y'all? I'm also hearing out there right now, oh my God, sellers are gonna start losing money in their houses. Who thinks that's gonna happen?
No.
I didn't talk to you, think it's gonna happen because it's not happening anytime soon. So guys, but when you're getting a listing right now, has anybody got a listing lately where they've had to reduce it? Anybody in here?
Well, in October.
Pardon me?
You mean
Before the
reduced
spring,
price?
so
Yeah,
yes.
reduced price.
Reduce the price, is that correct, y'all? All right, guys, are you seeing properties out there right now that you're thinking, this is overpriced?
Yes.
All right, tell me about that. What are you seeing?
Affordability is a big issue right
Tell me
now.
about that, Clark.
I mean, you've got stuff that's selling well under $1 million, and then somebody else make a comment on, I think, the Rawls Group Facebook page, you know, what about all of the rest of us normal people, you know? And so I just think there's, with interest rates combined with prices increasing, it's hard for folks to afford in East Cobb and other places.
Okay, I agree with that. So affordability is a thing. I got a phone yesterday from an old friend of mine, and her daughter's house is listed at something like 3.95 million. And she says, you think interest rates are hurting that sale? What do you think I told her?
No.
No. At that price range, they're probably doing what?
Cash.
They're probably doing exactly right. So yes, sir, Aaron.
Brenda and I had a good conversation yesterday in the team room that lower priced homes are very difficult to even sell, right? Because of buyers who can only afford up to such a low amount, basically can't really compete, and sometimes those are even tougher to sell it, right? Isn't that what you were saying? And because, you know, the affordability factor, the, you know, not being able to put a lot down, rates, everything we're talking about,
They're asking
so.
for closing costs for help.
Say that again, Brenda.
They're asking for closing costs for help. I mean, I just went under contract with one, but every last one of them wanted closing costs. Cause they're first time home buyers, it's a starter home,
What was the price, what may I ask?
$235.
$235, and where are you finding $235 houses?
Riverdale,
In Riverdale, is that
Yeah.
correct, y'all? Riverdale, is that correct?
near the airport area.
And I've heard that there are, great houses up towards like Chateau Lawn, in that area, have y'all seen that? Maybe some good prices up there, has anybody seen that?
Yeah.
Exactly right, yeah. So let's assume right now that you get a house that's priced at $350, $650, $450, whatever, and it does not sell in X time. Now, I'm gonna let y'all determine what X time is. If it does not sell in X time, when do you go to the seller and say, guys, it's not sold, we need to reduce it? Would y'all, are y'all having, yes ma'am, yes Danielle, of course, yes.
So if when I'm in the listing appointment, I'm already telling them if it's not sold in X time, we need to do this. So I'm getting their buy-in on the front end. So if it's not selling in that time frame, I mean, then they should be coming to you saying we need to reduce. I mean, that's what I have found. I don't have any pushback on reductions because I've already addressed it in the listing agreement.
And has X time changed?
No, not really. I mean, I'm telling them 3 weekends.
3 weekends?
3 weeks.
3 weekends.
Which is
So
2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Because
okay.
we go on the market on Thursday.
Alright.
Yeah. And then 5%.
Is it your expectation that most of your houses are gonna sell the first weekend?
No, but I mean, okay, well, depends on where they are, but they are still selling in the first weekend if they're staged right, priced right, marketed appropriately, professional. You have to do it all. You can't just photograph somebody's house with all their stuff in it. You need to get somebody out, my opinion, you need to get somebody out there, a stager, to help them stage the house with their stuff. It makes a big difference. And getting it ready.
So you give it 3 weekends, if it doesn't, if it's under contract for 3 weekends, then you go for price reduction. Is anybody doing anything different with that? Yes, Eric?
10 days, 2 weekends.
Oh, 10 days,
If
okay.
it's not under contract, 2 weekends, I'm doing the same thing Danielle said, is having the conversation in the listing appointment and getting agreement.
Okay, okay. And Eric, what does that conversation sound like?
You know, hey, you know, we're reviewing the comps, you know, we back and forth on price for a couple days, and then we finally settle and sign the agreement. And, oh, by the way, would you agree, Mr. and Ms. Seller, that if we have not gotten an offer and under contract in the first 2 weekends, 10 days, you'll be willing to reduce the price? And they say yes. I mean, if we're back and forth on it, maybe we extend it a little bit longer. It's not a given 10 days, but it's a negotiation with the seller. And for the right reasons, they say yes, because, I mean, my days on market, which I tell people, averages 4 days. So, you know, if we've priced it right, and we make sure it looks right, then it should sell.
Anything?
To go along with you all's last 2 points, in bringing up the price reduction within the listing consultation, that's something within training I have learned to be a great strategy. That way you're getting ahead of it, and that way the market has necessarily spoke. But in that conversation, are you all giving them a suggested reduction amount at the?
Can we hold that thought for 1 second? We're gonna get there. Hold that thought for 1 second, okay? Alright, so everybody is everybody seeing that some houses are lingering on the market right now?
Yes.
And please say no, I mean, somebody says, why are they lingering on the market right now? Because they're what?
They were priced too high.
Say it again?
So yesterday I got a call from an agent, and I had called her in December about her own personal home. And I know she doesn't remember that, how she spoke to me. So yesterday she called me and she said, I know you called me about an investment property, which I did not. She said, and my house, we just took a price reduction on it. It's listed at 1.2, but between you and I will take $950. And I'm thinking, you're an agent, why don't you just mark it down again for $950? Because it's been on the market since December. Oh my God. And so I had to tell her, I said, yeah, I remember talking to you, my buyer already bought a home above the price range, but I so wanted to say, well, why don't you just list it at $950, since you know you'll take it at $950. She still had it on the market at 1.2. When I talked to her, I think she had it listed at 1.5 something, and wouldn't come off her price. And now it's December, January, February, March, April.
Alright, so is everybody in agreement probably in 10 to 15 days? you talk to someone and say, okay, so, you know, the market has not gotten you the price. What does that conversation sound like? What does it sound like when you tell the seller that? You say, I messed up, you say the market did not do that, or we tried your price, what do you say when that happens?
I told them the market doesn't agree with the price.
Right. Like, tell me more about that.
Well,
What
I
do you
mean, at the
market-
listing appointment, I told them that the market determines the price anyway, so we can, I mean, I think you go through the you're setting them all up, and if there ever is a situation where it's sitting, I mean, it's been I don't remember the last time I've had that conversation, but if it does come up, they're usually the ones that are coming anyway. Because you're not seeing the showings, or their feedback is, cause I'll even tell them, I'm like, they might say they don't like the steep backyard, or they don't like this, but what they're saying is they don't like it for the price. So, price fixes everything, so that I'm setting all of that up on the front end, and usually they already know the red flags, that if there's an issue. So and I'll also tell them, do you wanna keep showing your house? And so I'll get them to agree to the price up front, so they're not having these issues down the road, cause, I mean.
You don't have anything to that before we move on? Now to Jalen's comment. So what are you setting up for as far as you probably, if it doesn't sell at 400, which I think is high, we probably need to reduce it how much? What does that conversation sound like right now?
It's a 5 or a 10% reduction, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. It's not a dollar amount,
Okay.
it's a percentage amount.
Yeah.
And you have to have this conversation at the listing appointment, right? And if you're using the chart masters that we have, you can show them, okay, if you price it wrong and you have a price reduction, here's where you end up. You end up at 39% of the original list price. When we price it correctly, we're gonna sell it in X number of days, and you're gonna get 98 to 100%.
What if it's in the luxury segment and you're asking for 10% off?
Yes, I mean, if it's $1 million home,
I mean, or more.
it's 5 or 10% off, depending on, of course, feedback from other agents and everything taken into consideration.
We had several reductions on one, and I would call the agents, one of the agents that was whose client was interested, and she said, oh, well, they were fine with the price, it was they needed to be closer to the school. So it's not always, I mean, if you get low enough, it'll solve all your problems, but I think it's, and then the flip side, Jim, I think, is that they're more expireds. So those of you who are looking for listings, expireds are an opportunity right now, because we're seeing more multiple, I'm seeing more multiple.
Up, exactly right, John. So are we gonna agree on between 5 and 10%? Is everybody okay with that figure? Tina, what are you seeing out there? Because you deal with some of the more upper scale ones. Are you seeing the price being reduced on the upper scale stuff?
Some of them, it's definitely slow. I've talked to a lot of agents in the last week.
Definitely. Tell me more about slow. So what does slow mean?
Just showings.
Showings, okay.
Yeah, all around, not just East Cobb, but even like Sandy Springs, some of the Buckhead ones that are over 2.
Yeah.
Not being shown.
So they're slow, and is that in the higher price stuff that's sort of slow right now?
Yeah, anything I would say over 2 million.
Okay.
They're just.
I think the definition of luxury has changed too.
Yeah.
Right.
Cause my house that I closing this weekend, Willow Point, when we listed it at 8, that is not what I would consider a luxury, right, house, so I mean, I think that's, I mean, I feel like when you, luxury is a different price point now, true luxury, I think.
Okay, and then luxury is subjective, right? Guys, let's face it, to most of the world, is some above 700,000 luxury house.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the people buying in East Cobb or Norfolk, whatever, do they consider it to be luxury?
No.
They do not, because you don't get new baths. Because this house I looked at that was like 3.99 million, it was spectacular inside. It's gonna be on the renovations. But, you know, that there's fewer for people that can afford that stuff, above 2 million, right? Just a few people. So 10%, but not in the luxury field. Was that what y'all was saying? Not a luxury field? You get 10% on house above 750?
I just tell them 5%, I don't ask for 10%.
5%, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think, do you think you have to take into consideration consideration at that price range, what is the average days on market too? Cause that price point, you're probably not gonna have a conversation that should sell in 2 weeks.
That's
You're
right.
gonna have a different conversation, it needs to sell in X based on the inventory. So that's a different, you just don't have all these buyers flocking to the house. That, you have to set that expectation of the listing based on the price point that
That's
you're
right.
in.
And Rich, are you and Heather having many conversations with your, cause y'all do deals on the high price stuff, with people in that price range, y'all haven't had any conversations? As far as reducing it?
So are you looking at me?
Sure, that's right, yeah.
Everything we're talking about is so dependent upon area.
I do, exactly.
And so you have to, you just can't paint with a broad stroke. And, we're dealing with something right now that we're putting on the market in the Denmark High School area in Forsyth. And it's very much an international market, and those people have money.
Wow.
And
Who knows what the Denmark market is?
Never heard of it.
Southwest Forsyth,
Yeah, we
I
almost
thought-
bought,
I
we
think
almost
just,
bought
just
there.
over the border
Yeah,
from,
it's a new high
No.
school,
Oh, it's a
yeah,
new high
yeah,
school.
It's a new high school.
phenomenal area,
Never
yeah.
heard of it.
Foresight, yeah, but
Yeah,
I hadn't heard of
yeah,
Denver.
Southwest.
It's like, yeah, it's near Vickery.
And so then, you're looking at something that, are you at the $1 million range, what is it, and what is the reaction, and how do you handle the people? Or like you were saying, when you go into that lower range, again, it depends on the schools, right? If all of a sudden you're in the lower range and you're over here in Lassiter, that's a whole different discussion than somebody that might be, something we're dealing with right now is over in Marietta High School. Okay, so that discussion varies a little bit. So I think you really need to have, the knowledge in your head of where you are and who is going to be your market
Yeah,
and how to deal with that.
yeah.
Because you gotta be careful on that discussion on the listing appointment, you're in a competitive situation as well. And the other agent says, oh, you know what, there's no problem getting whatever it is, right? You come in and you're actually the more experienced person and what you're saying has wisdom. And you couch yourself, you say, well, if we don't get that, we may be at B instead of A, right? And they look at you screwy-eyed, yeah. And so there again, that's another issue that pertains to the person you're dealing with.
And I remember that you're an appraiser also.
From, what's that appraisal?
Yeah, I remember that you're an appraiser also, I thought you were an appraiser.
Yeah, commercial and residential.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So when do you ask for, well, let's get an independent person and have it appraised? When do you do that? Or do you do that up front?
Depends.
Huh?
That's such a weird, it's a weird situation.
I asked one, their house is in Hiram / Powder Springs, and she was adamant about pricing her house and very high. Like there was no way around it, and I came around, I finally said, how about we just get it appraised? And she said, nope.
Wow. Take that listing?
Nope. And she keeps calling me, but anyways, yeah.
Ah.
She's calling you. She's chasing you now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You.
Yes.
Do we like that, guys?
I
I like that. So you will get it appraised if it's an unusual situation, right? You get it appraised at the right show. So guys, do you think we're heading into a market that will produce, and we're gonna be finishing 2 more minutes of time here, that will produce more listings?
The talk is,
Right?
I said, that's the talk, I know you said it, we'll see, right? I mean, it seems like it's lingering, well, you said, a lot of investors may unload, properties, and we may start seeing more inventory. Well, it's still to be determined.
Yeah. But they're getting rent, they're getting rent.
They're getting what?
They're getting rent, they're getting rent, they're not going to go up. Yeah.
Hey, Jim, Mike, just a quick question for you. Are you seeing something similar in the commercial world? Is there more inventory, less inventory, depending on the portion of it?
It's hard to say, because you got different asset classes, like office, office 6 months ago was inventory, but now I'm doing a search and it's getting tighter, so I think interest rates are still, investors still look at the cost of the investment.
Hey, Jim.
Sir, yes.
To dovetail with what Eric said, nobody knows, but I think that there is a possibility that may happen, what he said, because there is some legislation, and I think a lot of it depends on, some of it could depend on the election, about hedge funds owning mass amounts of property and how it's skewed. And there's two bills that are actually being looked at now in the US legislature to impede some of that. Now, the question will be, do they change the tax law for corporations so that it would be an incentive for them to sell those properties rather than hold them and continue to collect the rent, which is the comment that was made. I mean, you hate to see governmental action on something like that since we're supposedly a free market economy, but you gotta wonder, because nothing's gonna change until we see some more houses, right?
Right.
Exactly right, John. And guys, I wish I could tell you what's gonna change to bring more houses on the market. I don't know what it is. I mean, certainly, Eric has said, we discussed, maybe if some of the owned houses some of the investors put them on the market, that will help out some. I don't know what's gonna change it because, guys, you know what I'm most worried about? We're gonna finish, it's the first time home buyer. Why am I worried about the first time home buyer?
Well, they can't afford it. I mean,
They can't afford it.
they're renting longer, they're, even though rents are high, they're risk adverse. I mean, I'm getting these comments all the time, they wanted to buy a year ago. And
They represent the majority of the buyers.
That's right.
Yeah, and I don't think they really realize, they haven't actually done a mortgage tracker. I had a consult I had a consult last week, it was a past client, their daughter did a buyer's consult, and they were paying $2,200 a month, talking about how, expensive that was, and they wanted to get something cheaper to pay less, and they wanted to buy, so I was like, all right, well, let's sit down and run the numbers. I mean, with like 10% down on a $400,000 I don't remember exactly, but it was something like $2,800 a month, and they were shocked. I mean, that, putting 10% down on a $400,000 house is gonna cost them $2,800 a month. So then that was a conversation they needed to sit down, because they understand that if they keep running, they're just, treading water, they're not gonna get ahead, but they were really just unaware of what those numbers look like. They seem to think it's gonna be cheaper than their rent.
And one of the things we hear a lot is, and we're gonna move on, is that, but I'm gonna wait for interest rates to come down.
Yeah.
Always. And guys, will interest rates come down? Yes. No, they will come down. I don't care what Reed says. I'm wrong about that.
I said, I don't know. I mean.
You don't know.
He said
Who knows? Now, will they come down in 6 weeks?
6 years.
6 months or 6 years? I have no idea. But they will come down. And guys, if you wait for a year from now and the interest rates go down 1%, have you won?
Not really.
Why is that?
Because you're gonna overpay for the house because of all the competition that's gonna come back into the market, and you can change a rate, you can't change what you paid for a house, that's what I tell people.
Our house will keep going up next year. Yes. Not going down. Because I'm concerned about first time home buyers, what we can do for them to where they can get into a house, but that's the American dream. So guys, stay tuned. I don't know how we're gonna fix the problem with lack of housing, how we're gonna do that, or what that looks like, because that's a new one for me. I don't know how we're gonna fix that, because I don't know how you bring more houses to the market when people are staying in their houses because they can't find what they want. It's sort of a chicken and egg, isn't it? Okay? Anyway, guys, anything we need to talk, anything we didn't talk about today? Can you give yourselves a hand for being patient with this? Thank you very much, and we are dismissed.